Okay, now we have our ears and mouth area left. So you're going back to the same yellow ochre and the outer oval, that is what you're going to paint. Paint the outer oval. Paint both ears. Should look like this. And you use the same paint to paint this part of the mouth. We didn't paint it before, so now we're going to paint it. Okay. Now, once we've painted the ears and the mouth, we'll let that dry and focus on the hands, the arms, and the legs as well. We'll add more layers. This painting has a lot of layering, so we'll keep letting the paint dry and then adding layers on top, one on top of the other. So now you come back to the hands using the same gray color that we used in all of these places. You use that same gray to paint right under here. Again, it has to be very, very light. Don't make a thick mixture. And then on the outside, like an outline here. There should be a little gap of color. Here there's one color, the middle has one color, and then the outside has another color. Don't merge those two colors together. Just have the shadow on the outer part. Don't bring it towards the inside. Then once you're done with that, you move to this hand. And like we added strokes on this side, just put downward strokes on the other side. After painting the nose, just a second, I'll just explain. So after painting the nose, I used the same gray mixture that I had for the shadow areas. I used that mixture to add a shadow here on this side. And then after that, I'm going to start painting on this side. Okay. Once that is done, for the head, first I used yellow ochre for the first layer. Then on top of that, we went with a very watered layer of burnt sienna. And on top of that, we used a gray mixture, a mixture that we made using burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and black. So it'll be a very light gray. It's not very dark. Do you see these colors? They're very light. So that color is what we're using for the shadow on this part of the head. It's the same gray color that we're using throughout the body, wherever the shadow is. So now, taking that gray color on this side of the hand, you're gonna make downward strokes. And then take a little bit more paint. And then paint a shadow on this side. And then this side. Leave this bottom part empty. Don't let it cover the paint. Let the original yellow ochre be seen. You don't have to cover it. Okay, now let's focus on this side of the body of the teddy bear using a very watered burnt sienna. This color, make it very watery. Like I'm taking only a very little amount. Use that and paint this side, on this side of the tie. Once you're done with that, take your burnt sienna, very light again, and like we have a gray shadow on this side, we're going to have a burnt sienna shadow on this side. So again, just very lightly paint it on top. Like that. Just for that slight difference in light and shadow. While all of the rest is drying, we'll focus on this part of the leg and then the ears. So for that, we're going to be using red. You can use any shade of high Sia. On the stomach, for the main part, I use yellow ochre. Then for this shadowing, I used gray. That was a mixture of yellow ochre, a lot of yellow ochre, and a very small amount of black. And then here, you can either use a very small amount of red or burnt sienna. But whatever color you're using here for the shadow, make sure it's very watered. You don't have to paint it very thickly. Make it a very, very light, watery consistency, and then just brush it on top. Don't mix your paint together, because then the lower layer will mix with the top layer. So just like slightly brush it on top just to get that color. Okay, now let's move on to the legs. So use any red that you like, any bright red, dark red, whatever color that you like, just use that color and paint the inside of the legs here. Do that on both legs. Okay, once you're done with the leg, if you see here, there's a little gap in the ears. So there also you're gonna paint this red. And do the same, paint on the other side. Okay. Now we'll let that one dry. So now we'll move our focus to this part of the mouth. Once you're done painting the red inside the leg, in these areas and inside the ears, take your burnt sienna. Again, a very, very small amount of it. Take your burnt sienna. And then paint just this part. Very, very lightly. Don't cover the whole nose, just the bottom part like this. And then a small amount on this side. If you think you have too much paint, you can wipe it off, or you can just slightly spread it, or use your brush, wipe it off on your tissue, and then go back again. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Since you're going for a more vintage look, It's better if the brush strokes look more blunt. Okay. Once you have that layer down, then go back to your gray color again. Take that gray color and paint this side of the nose. And you can slightly paint it under the nose as well. Use that same color and just put a few random brush strokes. Don't paint it, just a random couple of brush strokes. If you're done with that, again, use your burnt sienna mixture on this ear and just paint it on top of the ear like that. After that, on this side of the ear, just paint it again.
Can you please?
I'm sorry?
Can you please wait a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let me know once you're done and I'll continue from there. We'll let all of the teddy bear dry and we'll focus on the bottom part. So for the bottom also, we're going to be using yellow ochre. You take that and just cover this lower part. Okay. Now, we'll just move on to the nose, the eyes, and a few detailing in the legs. So for that, you will need black. You don't need to mix this black with anything. Just take your black and paint the nose. And when you paint the nose, make sure that the nose is not perfect. Let it be a little, do you see how I'm doing it? Just squiggly around because it will show the fur of the teddy bear. Don't make it a perfect oval shaped nose. So that's the nose. And then this side will have the half hidden eye. So that side of the eye. And then this side. Again, the eye doesn't have to be a perfect circle. It can just be a black spot like this. While doing this, make sure it will be easier for you if you have a detailing brush so that the smaller bits of it can be reached. So you will need the same detailing brush to add details to the legs and everything. So I would suggest that you use a detailing brush, fine liner. Once you're done with the eye and the nose, you come to this leg. There's this middle part between these three petals, right? From there, just draw a line. It doesn't have to be a perfect line. Just draw. Don't bring it all the way to the bottom. Just halfway draw it. And then do the same on this side as well. Once that is done, we'll draw another line across, a second line, and a third. They don't have to be perfect. Randomly draw the lines, it's okay. Repeat the same thing again. So from the middle of those, just draw one line down, another one down, and then across. Once that is done, we'll do the same thing to the ears as well. So just in the middle, just draw a line like this. And then two small lines inside. Same. In the middle, draw a line. And then two lines. Once you're done doing that, we'll again go back to the bottom part. So remember the gray that you mixed and kept? The same gray, you will use it to randomly draw. You don't have to draw perfect. You don't have to be perfect here. Just randomly use your brush to create an effect. Is everybody done till there? After that is done, now you'll take your green color. Again, for this, I like to use a very watery consistency. So the green that I'm using is sap green. If you don't have sap green, don't worry. You can use any green that you have. So I'm just taking a small amount of it and then making it a little watery. And then we're gonna, again, you don't have to be perfect here, just random abstract shapes, like how I'm doing here. It's like leaves, but you don't have to draw perfect leaves. And then once you're done drawing those leaves, the same red that you used to paint inside the legs and the ears, you can use the same red. Make a very watery consistency like how you used for the leaves. And then paint petals. Doesn't have to be a perfect flower. Just randomly wherever. If you want more flowers all over, you can use more flowers, or you can just use as many just to give that color on the carpet. You see? And after that, now we're going to mix a new shade. So remember how we used a lot of yellow ochre and very little black to get this gray color? So now, instead of very little, I'm going to add a little more black. So it'll be a little more darker gray. You see that? If you want me to explain how to mix this color, you can ask me. I can repeat again. No issues.
Can you repeat?
You want the color mixing again?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you're going to take your yellow ochre color. So you can see here, I have so much of the paint. You don't need a lot, just so much. And then take very little black. Don't take too much. If you need more black, you can add later. So it's okay if you take very little in the beginning. See, now it's not dark enough as I want. So now I'm going to take a small amount of black and add it and make it darker.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So now you're going to take that gray color and add the shadows. So for that, this is where the shadow is going to be. So in the bottom of the teddy bear, don't make it perfect again, just randomly place the shadow. Follow this leg. As you come towards the edge, make the shadow smaller. And then when you come near the leg, bring out the shadow again. And then take that shadow to the back. We're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to add the shadow.
Can we watch this session after the class?
I'm not sure if I think it should be available. I can let you know after this is done. And if you want another session, I don't mind taking a one-on-one with you. It's okay. Any other day you want, you contact me and we can just fix a date and I can have a one-on-one session with you. So it's okay. Even if the recording is not available, I'll do another class.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now once you've done this gray underneath, now we're going to add black detailing. So don't mix your black with anything. Take your black and use a fine liner. You can use a fine liner, or if you have a a micro liner pen, you can use a pen as well. So you're going to use your black color and just to give that extra shadow effect, you're going to paint. You can follow along and see what I'm doing. Don't worry about making the line perfect. It's okay. It can be just random lines. And don't draw a line that's connecting from the beginning to the end. Make sure there's gaps. Make sure that some parts of it is thicker, some part of it is thinner. And okay. Now we're finished with the bottom of the teddy bear. Now we'll go back to adding details around. We have to be a little quicker because we're running out of time. Can I move ahead faster, you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're going to take your brown again and add a small amount of black to make it a little darker. If you have raw umber, you can use that color. But if you don't have raw umber with you, you can use burnt umber and mix a little bit of black. So you have a darker brown. So use that darker brown and we're going to add just one line here and another line here, again to give that shadow effect. And then on top of the leg here. Once we're done with that, we'll go to the connection between the head and the body. So on this side, we're going to use the same brown color that you mixed or the color that you have. And then draw a line for the shadow. Okay. And then the same thing on the other side. Just halfway through, draw a line. Now use the same brown and black mixture and just add a line on top. And then a line on top on this side as well. After you're done with that, use your brown shade. Make it very watery. Make it watery. And then we need to add a little bit of that dimension here. So what I'm going to do is just randomly add little shading on this part. Okay. Now let's go to the head area. Here also you can see that there's not a lot of texture that you can see. So to create that texture, that light gray shade that you mixed with yellow ochre and black, use that light gray texture, use your brush and then slightly just dab it to give the texture of the teddy bear's fur. Very light mixture, don't make it very dark. Wherever you feel like there's not enough texture, you can just add this. Don't paint the whole thing, just keep dabbing like this. Then you take your mixture of burnt sienna and black or raw umber if you have it. Use that to add more shadow to the ears. So at the bottom of the ear here, just draw a line just for the shadow. Same way on this side at the bottom and on the top. Okay. Then you take your gray again and we're going to add texture to this part of the face. So just like you used your brush to dab for here, use the same motion here on this side. So take your darker brown color that you mixed, use that dark brown color to draw under the mouth for the shadow. This part. Don't draw it all the way to the top, just this part. Okay. And use that same brown color. And you have your nose here. Add shadow all around the nose. You see? Just like I'm doing, just add shadow all around. And do the same around the eye as well. So just add shadow around the eyes like this. Don't make it too dark, just enough. Okay. And then now we're going to use our white paint. Using the white, we're going to add a highlight. So here, just a small dot. Can you see? Do the same thing for the eyes. So you put a dot here and a smaller dot here. That's it. And then now we're going to go to the tie. So for the tie, we're going to paint it yellow. So paint the tie yellow. And while it waits to dry, we'll add more details. So using the dark color again, on this side of the teddy bear, we're going to add more darker colors. Okay. Once that is done, for the background, here what I've used is, I've mixed blue, black, and white to get this grayish blue color. Now, if you don't want to mix that color and don't want to have that color, you can just keep a plain black background. So I'm going to mix the color. I don't think we have time, but we're going to try and mix the color. Use a little bit of blue. Use black. And then white. Use these colors and mix them together. You should have like a bluish gray color. That's what you want. So using that color, you're just going to paint the background.
Can you tell the color mixing again?
Blue, equal parts of blue and black, and then a small slight part of white.
Yeah, sure.
So you should get a grayish bluish color. And then be careful when you paint around the teddy bear, but the whole background has to be that color. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys what else to paint to finish it. And I'll paint the background later. So now that the tie is dry, you go back and use your red color. And then you paint stripes on the tie. Okay. You can keep it plain if you want, but if you want a contrast, you can add the red stripes. Okay. And then I'll just show you how to make your teddy bear look fluffier. So what you're going to need is your yellow ochre. You take that color, and once your background has dried, you can just go to the edges and just fluff it up. Use very little paint, but you can just fluff it up. But right now, if you see, it's very blunt, right? So to avoid that, you can use your yellow.
Which color is this? Sorry. Which
Yellow
color
ochre.
are you using to fluff up?
The yellow ochre.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that you used in the beginning. You're going to use the
Yeah.
same one. And then just fluff up the corners, because otherwise it will look very odd. So just to give that fluffy effect, you're going to go all around throughout the body of the teddy bear. You're going to use that. Okay, I'm not going to complete that because I want to tell you guys another thing. To add highlights to the teddy bear, you take your white paint. Again, not a lot. Take a very little amount of white paint. And you see this part of the teddy bear? You're just going to add a small amount of white there just to show some highlights. And then you're going to do the same on this side of the face as well. So you're going to don't paint the whole place, whole side. Just randomly place few brush strokes. And then here in the middle as well, you're going to add few highlights. Then you're going to use the white again and place highlights on the leg here. You don't have to be perfect, just a random highlight there. And then a highlight on this side. Don't make the white too bright as well. Just keep it a very light color. And then for the top part of the teddy bear, this area, it looks very plain, right? So again, you're going to go back to your brown and black mixture. Very lightly, just place more fur, just to give that texture. Are you guys behind, or how far have you guys reached?
I missed the last step. Sorry.
I just added a little bit of texture here on the top, a little more fur on top.
I mean, what have you used?
I used the mixture of burnt umber and black, the brown color that we used before.
Yeah.
Yeah, same color.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna try and complete mine. It's always better if you guys stick your paintings to another surface. If you stick it to the table, you won't be able to turn it around. If it's stuck on another, for now, I'm using an acrylic sheet. So if you have something like this, it's easier for you guys to turn it around and reach the edges easily. You can't bend your hand in every direction, right? So just completing up the background. And then, like I said, after you guys have done the background and after it's dry, make sure you use the paint to fluff up the edges. don't mix it too much because your yellow ochre and your blue background will mix together and make a very weird color combination. So just, I'm going back and then fluffing up.
Okay, this fluffing up should be done after we complete the background.
Yes, yes. Because otherwise
Mhm.
blue paint will cover up the fluffiness again.
Correct, correct. Okay.
Just fluff it up throughout the painting. Again, don't be perfect. Just have fun, relax, and fluff it up. The ears. Are you guys done fluffing the teddy bear?
No, my background is still wet. Yeah?
Ah, okay, okay. So then in the meantime, you can add more texture to the teddy bear. If you like the teddy bear to look more fluffier, for example, in this area, like the tummy area, just like what you did in the head area by adding more paint and making it look fluffy, you can do the same thing in the tummy area.
Mhm.
It's entirely up to your preference. If you like it to be that way, you can do it.
Mhm.
Anybody have any doubts regarding anything? If you want me to do like a video on how to color mix this, because I was a little quick towards the end. If you guys need any help whatsoever, you can reach out to me or Zen Sangam. And we also have another announcement to make. Zen Sangam is coming back with a virtual paint party again. So if you go over to their account, you can register. It's super fun. I've been for like a couple of their workshops as well. So don't miss out on that as well. The link for that is on their website. So if you go to their account and click the link on their bio, it'll take you to the website and then you can register. Now, if you see, because I was too fast, my background is a little patchy here and here. So if you guys have time, I mean, you guys should take your time and make sure that the background is more perfect than on this side. So if you can keep it a little patchy because that's another, what do you say? It'll give you more of a vintage look, but either way, whatever your preference is, you can do that. Okay, so I'm not perfecting my background right now. Now we'll just add a few final details. Now, remember the gray that you mixed and kept with your yellow, ochre, and black? Use that same gray to add a shadow on this side. Are you done?
Which color should we use to fluff the teddy?
For the teddy, you can, for the outside of the teddy bear, you can use yellow ochre. That is the color that you use to paint the body of the teddy bear. So you can use the same color. But on the inside here, if you want to fluff up the teddy bear, you can use a mixture of burnt sienna and black. It shouldn't be too dark. It's like a lighter brown color. So that will give that shade difference when you try and fluff it up. Again, just adding a few final details. Are you guys all done with fluffing and adding your background? Going to this part of the teddy bear. Here, we'll just add more shadows. At this point, it's all about adding shadows and highlights to make it look more livelier. So shadow at the bottom there. And since this side of my teddy bear looks a little too flat, and if anybody else's teddy bear also looks too flat, you can use your brown and yellow ochre color or your burnt sienna, any color, or a little orangish. If you wanted to look more orange, you can use a orange color, but very, very light mixture like this. Can you see? It's very watery. So use that very watery mixture to just add another layer to make it stand out more. This is only for the people whose teddy bear looks very flat on this side. If your teddy bear has been looking fine from the beginning, I wouldn't suggest adding more color. But for people whose teddy bear looks flat, add a little more color to that side. You can even bring that color to the bottom here. And are you guys done with that? Then again, taking your white color, we'll just add a highlight to this arm because this arm is more towards the light. Don't completely paint the hand, just few strokes, like one here, and one dot here. That's it. Don't paint too much white there. Okay. And at this point, your painting should be done. What I've done in the original painting is I've painted a lighter background. I painted a lighter background and then added a shadow in the back here, if you can see. Since painting is darker, there won't be a lot of shadow to be seen. So you don't have to worry about it. But for anybody who's painted a very light background, like this one, then you can just, on this side of the teddy bear, you can just add a little bit more black to the paint that you used and add the shadow effect. Now, for instance, if I have to show it to you, this is a dark blue. So on a dark blue background, the only shadow effect that I can do is black. So if I use black, I will just place that shadow here in the back. It's not necessary for you guys to add the shadow. It's entirely okay if there's no shadow because painting will still look fine. But if you want to add more details to the painting, this is what you can do. Just follow the random outline of the teddy bear. Just randomly paint the shadow on the side that is away from light. So it'll look something like this. Since my background is already dark, my shadow will not be seen much. So for those of you, like I said, if you have a dark background, don't worry about the shadow. It doesn't matter. And just another detail, like just the line of shadow here. And then at the bottom here, to show a little bit of shadow, just at the bottom, nowhere else. Okay. And then again, if you want to add more highlights, you can stop at this point. But if you want to keep adding details and highlights to your painting, again, take your white and just on the stomach here, add the white. That's it. And then you're done with your painting. Do you guys have any other doubts? Because we're done and I would love to see your works. All of you guys, please tag me and Zensangam on your accounts. Any final doubts or any final comments that you guys have?
No, see you back.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Yes.